Oh, and down he goes! Right hand, left hand! And I don't think he's going to get up! I think it's all over! I think it's over! Is he going to get up? Can he get up? Can he get up? He does! Oh my goodness! Somehow Fury has managed to get up!
If you haven't already, please also subscribe to us on Apple, Spreaker and Spotify. Just type in Brawl Boxing and you'll find us there. Thank you. I just want to start by giving a shout out to our amazing sponsor, CBD Uplift. They provide the best CBD products on the market, including oil, gummies and capsules. I've actually tried the products myself and I can genuinely say they're the best CBD I've ever had, especially the gummies. I'd seriously recommend anyone. If you use our discount code BRAWL20, you'll get 20% off and free shipping. So thanks a million, lads. Violent Gentleman, the newest and fastest growing boxing-inspired training/casual wear brand established in Northern Ireland. Violent inside the ropes, a gentleman outside of them. Behave accordingly. Check out their website, www.violentgent20.com, and all of their socials. Facebook, ViolentGent20, Twitter, ViolentGent20, and Insta, ViolentGentleman20. Thank you. Hello, folks, and welcome back to the Brawl Boxing Podcast. I'm Kieran McCourt, and I'm joined by co-hosts Colin McGuigan and Ryan McLaughlin.
So, guys, we're really excited to have this next guy on the podcast. Obviously, it's three boxing fans from Belfast. We're ecstatic about it whenever he contacted us to come back on the podcast. So, welcome, Carl Frampton. Carl, how you doing, mate?
I'm all right, lads. How you doing?
Well, you're looking fresher, Carl. You're looking well, lovely smile.
That was turned in confidence.
I know. It's this angle, right? So I got the nice shirt on. But look, it's I'm up here. It's all right. But when you're looking, because it's only my top teeth.
Yeah.
I just keep it there anyway. Everyone knows. If you look at me straight on, my teeth are all right.
Nice. Before we get into boxing chat, Carl, you obviously uploaded a very questionable photo on Twitter the other day of you sitting beside some fella in a gimp mask.
Oh,
people are thinking it's Paddy Barnes. I'm not too sure, but is Christine and Mary getting a wee bit jealous?
No, I don't know. I just sent Paddy a wee video, or not a video, a link to a story, and Top Blade in the town.
Oh, yeah.
Some woman left her thong on the ground at the table 17, and Paddy and Mary like Top Blade. And I looked about her size. Just asking.
They seem like absolute characters. See, speaking of Christine, Carl, Christine's become like a sort of celebrity in her own right, like Belfast Twitter. Do you ever worry in a few years people just know you as Christine Frampton's husband?
Don't worry about it, but it could happen. Wouldn't surprise me. It happens. She was off Twitter there for a while. So she was off it for a while, and loads of people were asking me like, "Where's Christine?" She's funny. She's very, very funny.
Yeah. Even like the mutuals, I like so many girls I know and stuff follow her, because like you click on your page and it's just loads of like 200 mutual fellas following.
Yeah.
And then like Christine, obviously, because she's funny as fuck. I don't even know if they know it's your it's your wife.
No, I know she's dead funny. She's good crack, Christine. Don't be telling her too much, but she's got about, I think she's near 30,000 followers on Twitter.
She's a big fan of the podcast as well, so shout out Christine.
She's massive fan of the podcast. She wants to know, how do you monetize Twitter? She's asking me.
She should know. Well, she's the influencer.
Not like you need she needs to start spaces. She needs to start the spaces. Me and the lads have actually had a chat about this. So we're gonna like go on before fights and monetize our Twitter. So we're gonna talk before fights. So see, whenever you're talking shade on BT Sport, we're gonna talk shade on Twitter. Just
we'll have a team on.
I've monetized my YouTube.
Yeah. Have you?
I only have a wee channel, and I do like pre-fight and post-fight reactions. Not pre-fight reactions. You can't have a pre-fight reaction, can you? But pre-fight stuff and then reactions stuff. And I've got $80 this month so far.
I'm subscribed to it. You've actually got a lot. You've got a good few thousand. You've got like 6,000-7,000 subscribers, don't you?
But I think about 6 or something now.
Do you know what be great for your YouTube?
I literally just sit on my phone and talk shit about fights and then upload it. So, but I might get a wee bit of help with it. And,
that would be good to get brawl boxing involved in that. Don't know, that would be like that actually sounds very interesting.
I mean, Lloyd. He's away to Darren Barker. Get us involved.
I know Lloyd's. He's too busy at the minute. We've still got a wee thing going. This inside fighting thing that we've done before. It's not completely dead. Like, I think we'll do stuff in the future, but he's literally flat out.
Yeah,
so much. Like the workload for the zone is massive, and he's really good, Chris, as well. But yeah, I've got an Norway thing. I'm in the middle of something at the minute. You're getting an exclusive here. I'm doing a thing for BBC Sounds, interviewing sports people in different sports and kind of seeing if I had the attributes to ever make it in their sport. So I've done Drew McIntyre.
Oh, the wrestler.
I'm doing John Higgins tomorrow, and Monty Panesar I done last week as well.
You seen actually you and Monty Panesar? You're surely Stuart Dallas will be your football pick.
He is.
He is. Knew it.
Yeah.
Well, you did that thing with was it Joe Cole? You did the George Best.
Yeah.
What was that? That looked epic.
It was just a preview of just about George Best, because the Super Cup final was at Windsor, so they wanted to talk about Best. Obviously, Northern Ireland's most famous footballer after Ryan.
Put that as a clip.
And we went to his house. No, it's a great wee tour. I didn't even know you could do it, by the way. It was a brilliant day. Lovely, great wee tour around the house where he used to live, and dead like nostalgic. It's weird. It's like, sounds mad, but do you know you go into your granny's house, the smell of it, like old furniture and all. You could smell it, like it smelled like an old person's house. Like it was class, and that was it. Really, it was good crack.
Does anyone live in it, or is it now like you visit just?
It's you can rent it on Airbnb.
Oh,
but it's open to the public. Open to the public every Friday, so you can just go and walk. And I don't think there's a fee. Maybe just give a donation or whatever. And you can walk around it. Literally, you do it in 5 minutes. But you can read they've got his old fucking school reports and all, and letters he'd sent back home to his parents when he was over at United. It's class. It's really, really good.
I watched it, and that's how all the same the TV and all, and like all the old furniture. It's all like
it's amazing. It's amazing. Yeah. But yeah, it was good. But you actually you can stay overnight if you want. Be a bit weird but you can Airbnb it.
I was going to say, the way you described the smell and stuff. I mean, it wouldn't be.
No, it's not common. Like it's just like it smells like.
No, I know what you mean. Just granny gap. But I mean, if you were having your fucking 21st in it, wouldn't be.
The Missy Belfast that would have been in his bedroom, you probably still smell him
Well, here, Cord, speaking of post-fight reactions earlier, obviously the world has sort of been satellite this week. Boxing's in the mainstream again after what was one of the best fights of our generation. What did you think? What did you think of Fury Wilder on Saturday?
Brilliant fight. I think it's only recently, I suppose since the start of the Wilder trilogy, that Fury's actually starting to get the credit he deserves for being a hard man. Like he was always, you guys like Steve Cunningham dropped him, cruiserweights, and he always got up to win. And I remember him boxing again at Keen's Hall. I had only a handful of fights at the time.
He was a Russian guy. He dropped him.
Aye, Furfa. Did he call him something? But he wasn't very good, and he dropped him. And I don't think he was, to be honest, probably back then, he probably wasn't taking it as seriously as he is now. And we all know he's had a lot of issues as well. But an amazing performance, and what a fight as well. And Wilder was better this time than he was in the first two fights. But Fury just had an answer for everything.
I don't think Wilder got enough credit though. See, if you're looking back on that, Wilder was unbelievable. 9 out of 10 heavyweights, he beats him. The only person he doesn't beat is Tyson Fury.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think his style and his punching power. I think Josh is a bit stiff. Josh will get hit with a right hand at some point. I think he knocks Josh out. I think he's too big for Usyk. I think you're right. I think Fury's the top guy. Wilder's still probably two, but it'll be hard for him to get over that loss and to come back.
See, if you were in his corner, right, and you had been obviously in the position of Malik's, would you have then said, "Nah, I'm throwing in the towel here"? Because there was points at that, like he definitely was taking too much punishment.
Yeah, he was, I know, and he was exhausted too. But I don't know. It's a strange one. As a fighter, like you always want to stay in, and well, I did anyway. And even when Jamie Moore like stopped me in my last fight, or threw a towel in the last fight, I was annoyed at the time. But kind of, I haven't watched the full fight back, but I watched a bit of it, kind of the end, and I was in my head. I was more aware than I actually was. So it was the right decision for him to do that. Even though at the time, like I wanted to fucking stay in, but because it's Wilder's, he's always got a chance because he's got the fucking dynamite. You know what I mean? So, but there's a call for pulling him out. He was exhausted, but he was exhausted for a number of rounds, and he was still in. So, I don't know. It's each their own, I suppose.
Wee trilogy like started on your undercard, sort of. You surely should be getting a cut of that, no?
I wish. I wish.
It is mad.
Yeah, I know. Flip me. That's right. Glad about that.
Did you meet Wilder that week?
He came into the change room and before I was going to fight, and he was getting, all American, just a bit theatrical, like all the things he was saying, and it was nice of him to come in, and I just said, "Oh, nice to see you, big man." And he says, "Yeah, you want to do this, man?" And all. And I went, "Yeah, no, I'll do my best." Like just a wee bit understated. He went, "No, brother, you're gonna win this fight. You gotta believe it all." Right.
Looking for Billy Joe Saunders, was he?
See you later, mate. But almost like it was, not embarrassed. It was really nice of him to come in, but we just Americanized everything, and the cameras are on, and I'm a wee bit scundered, like, right, go on, man.
All dramatic. Americans, like, they come across a lot dramatic when they say things, don't they? And I remember I was at that fight, and I remember Fury got booed after that fight by some of the fans at Windsor. It's mental, like, to see obviously what he's doing now, but that was all created literally on your card. That whole trilogy, one of the best trilogies in our era.
Yeah, do you know what? That you're right, and I didn't even know that. Like I forgot about that. So
you deserve a cut of it. So
as soon as you come off this, you send the invoice and give us a cut.
Phone calls. See if they give me 1% that. That's more money than I've ever had in my life.
That's our joint YouTube channel taking off at 1%. So, Carl, since we last spoke, you obviously touched on it there. You had your final fight with Jamel. How's retirement comparing to, because you were always, as you've said in many interviews, so busy. You never got to see your kids. You get more time with the kids now, and obviously realizing what life is like outside of boxing now.
It's been good, to be honest. And people keep asking the question, like, do you miss it? And I don't. I genuinely don't. And I was kind of looking forward to retiring. Probably for the last few years anyway. And now, like looking back, I probably kind of after the second Santa Cruz fight, kind of, and maybe not that way. Soon after that, I was maybe not as good as it once was, and picking up a few niggles and a few injuries, and I stayed in it for a few more years. But I've had a hard, camps and back-to-back camps and sparring big guys, and it all just adds up, and at the end there, I wasn't close to the fighter that I once was, so.
Would you have known that, or do you only sort of really find out when you're...
No, it's different. I didn't know it because I was still, in the gym, even in the weight room, like I'm lifting as heavy as I was, and the times on kind of the treadmill sessions and all we used to do were all good. I was sparring well and stuff, but it's only when you fight really that you find out. Like the Darren Trainer fight was probably a bit of a wake up call, because again the camp and all were good. The camp with that fight and the Jamel Harani fight were good, but fuck me, if I'd have been fighting Darren Trainer 2 years before that, it'd have been a 3-round job, you know. But yeah, I always, it's different when you fight, you know, and you're not sparring anymore. You don't have the big gloves and the head guards on. It's different. Like I sparred Anto Kukachi and a guy called Alex Dilmajani for the Herring fight, and I hardly lost a round. Like I was fucking brilliant. But on fight night, like I just realised like I didn't have it anymore.
I was going to say, because obviously Jamel's fighting Stevenson next week. Will that be something you'll obviously watch and keep an eye on, or how do you see that fight going?
I'll watch it. I'll try and stick it on right before the fight, because no doubt they're going to show loads of clips of Herring fucking chinning me in the build up. So I think Jamel will give him a fight for a while, but at some point Stevenson, he's young, he's, you know, fresh fucking kid. He's very, very good as well. He's very big. That's one attribute that Herring always had, is size and I suppose strength as well over people. You know, boiling himself down to super featherweight division, but he doesn't really have it now against Shakur. So I fancy Shakur, but I'd like Jamel to win. You know, I get on quite well with him. I respect him a lot. Yeah, but I just it's hard for me to see that happening.
Even just talking there about the retirement, you were saying you don't miss it and stuff, but we've seen how well you get on with Jamie and the team, like Nigel, you know, Tommy, all the rest of them. Like you seem to be so happy. Do you miss like the camaraderie of all that?
I do miss that, and I was over in the gym last week. I was doing something for BT, so I was over in the gym last week, and I always keep in touch. I'm still in the gym WhatsApp group. Like there's been a few boys in the gym. And I've left the gym and they've been booted out of the group. So obviously I'm not in the gym anymore. I'm still in, which is I'm loving that the boys have kept me in. So yeah, I miss that. It was good crack, that gym. I want to see Tommy Coy's got a thing he's doing the 23rd here. I'm going over that to see all the boys. So that should be good crack as well.
Say for talk's sake, right? Brawl Boxing set up like a charity boxing thing, and all these YouTubers boxing, right? Say we got like Pete Snodden or Barra Best. Would you get in the ring and fight them?
For YouTube, would go well yet?
Your YouTube would take off, like.
Huge.
I'd fight. Well, I don't know, to be honest.
I'd say you and Pete Snodden would be such a scrap.
Let's see.
But you know, in this era of all these YouTubers, like, is that something you consider if someone came to you, like, obviously not Pete Snodden, but if some YouTuber came to you and said, Carl Frampton, I want you, here's $1 million, would you take it and do it?
Stevie Ward fought that big Ward fella, didn't he? Or
yeah,
Stevie Ward did. He done that. But this is the thing. So you kind of have, you know, you have principles and stuff, and I do, and I look at that YouTube boxing as a lot of nonsense, but I'd stick my principles in the bin if someone offered serious dough, you know what I mean? So it depends what sort of money they're talking about.
You would have to, like, it'd be impossible to turn it down. I
don't think we'd get enough money for Barra Best or Pete Snodden. It'd have to be one of them Yank YouTubers, wouldn't it?
Fuck's sake. Barra Best would need a hammer and a head start.
we could get Paddy Barnes and Steve Nolan on the undercard. I'd say we would sell out the Odyssey for that.
You would, 100%. Paddy would try and kill him as well.
Paddy versus the owner of Visor. That would be So, Carl, obviously...
We Paddy Pandemic, I call
him. He has a future in politics. Like, I swear to God, he's got this sort of the passion for it. He's got the anger.
He does. And he's not as daft as you think, Paddy. I think I'd be a mad politician. I don't know which party. He'd have to be an independent. I don't think anyone would let him
in. He'd be like a Green Party or something, wouldn't he? Maybe
Jamie Bryson might let him in.
But I thought all them 6 a.m. starts down at Frampton would sort of calm him down, you know, like make him see life in a different way. Is he enjoying them?
I've stopped them. Most have stopped. There's still a couple still going, but it's still pitch black at 6 o'clock. And I went down 1 week and there was jellyfish. There's jellyfish down at Frampton. And I just freaked out. Like I didn't want to jump in and land on top of one of their heads. So I've stopped going. It's too dark. But it's good crack that, you know.
I seen you dragged Tyrone McKenna along. He fucking hated it.
He hated it, but he done it. Fair play to him. He done it, and we all do it. It's all right. It's not as bad as you think. After about the first minute and a half, you're all right. The ice baths are harder than the sea, like definitely.
But you know what's mad? Like, see if I was you and you have dedicated your life to boxing, you were so fit. You were like the most ripped like person I've ever seen on the scales.
At the start, I was, not at the end.
At this, no, you were even when you moved up, but you were still always.
But it was weird. I was talking about that the other day. You know, about just your body changes and harder to make weight as you get older, and metabolism and all that slowed down. And yeah, but go on. I interrupted you.
Yeah, I think Christine should be jealous of you the amount of times you've complimented his abs here instead of.
I know. What way are you getting on, Ken?
Listen, he's like myself. He keeps himself in good nick. You know what I mean? But no, I was going to say, what the fuck was I going to say, Carl? You actually did ruin my train of thought. I was going to say, if I was you, right, I would just be like, fuck this. I'm just going to Ricky Hatton this, like, straight down the wall.
I don't. Do you know what? I haven't trained in about 8 weeks. I haven't done anything, and I've been very lazy. But I had COVID there about 6 weeks ago, and it knocked my pan in for about 5 or 6 days. So once we've done the isolation and all that, I tried to go for a run, like a 5K run. Now doing it's like a hilly 5K, and I got 2 kilometers into it and was blowing out my hole. So I've been afraid to do anything since. So, but I need to start training. Like I've probably been heavier than I am right now, but I'm soft. I'm dead soft. I don't fucking like it.
What's the most you would have went up in between fights?
About, I never hit 70 kilos, like 669 kg.
Right. But you were doing it early on in your career, in your first sort of team, you were doing mad camps as well, ridiculous.
Big long camp. I used to weigh, so super bantamweight, it was 55.3 kilos, and I used to probably go up to like 66 or 67. So at least 10 kilos to lose anyway, a bit more. I always had to be really, really lean, like to get into that 8 stone 10 division. The camps were hard, like they're always hard. Just sparring big guys and all, and after a while, it's no good for you. It adds up and all that wear and tear. And that was something I started to think about towards the end of my career. Like, you talk about footballers and all the old time footballers with concussion because of hitting the big heavy wet balls and stuff. But I'm doing, there's a camps where I done 200 plus rounds of sparring. And sometimes my sparring partners were welterweights. It's like it's insane, really, when you think about it. And it's just trauma, isn't it, on your body? And no doubt at the time it was getting me in shape. Being able to like kind of be in with them big guys and try my best to like outfight a welterweight or a light middleweight. But it's it's something I started to think about more about, like, long-term effects of what I've done. But there's nothing I can do about it now because I've done it. But touch wood, I'm feeling all right.
So you done Tommy's Corner, didn't you? Well, you were doing the spit bucket and that, but Tommy's Corner. Did you enjoy that side of it? Would that be something you'd want to? I know obviously you're going into the punditry stuff, but is that something you'd want to do in the future?
I really enjoyed it. Really, really enjoyed it. I done Tommy Coyle's Corner as well. Done the bucket and enjoyed it. And big Tommy McCarthy kind of asked me, did I want to do it? And obviously it was to wind the McGuiggans up. Like, that's why we all know. But I said, I'll do it because he asked me. So and Tommy's my mate. But I did really enjoy it. Like, really, really enjoyed that. And I'd always coaching isn't something I'd want to do, but I'm always happy to give out a wee bit of advice and help people out if they need it. So, but coaching just now, I don't think coaching will ever be for me. It's just too much time. Like, it's Jamie Moore, for example. When I finish a fight, when I have a fight, I have a 12-week camp, I have a fight, and then I have a month off and go on holiday, do what I want. But he has a 12-week camp with me, and then he's got another fighter going in there, getting ready, and it's just never ending. So That's nothing really that interests me at this point.
Can we clear something up here, because this has been a topic of conversation, and I think I'm right about this. So you said you and Tommy are good mates. Is Tommy the godfather of your son, or is this a complete lie?
What do you think?
I genuinely
think-
believe this.
Yeah,
I
he
genuinely
believes it.
believe
I think it's a complete myth.
No, he's just made it up.
Has he made it
Yeah,
up?
I knew
He
you
said
were
to me he was. Like, I was like, hey, you're
I knew
lying.
you
Like, I blah, blah. And he was like, no, I am. And I was like, and then I believed him, obviously, because he reassured me.
No, he's a spoofer. It was on. I remember I was watching a fight.
It was on
It
Sky
was
or
his
something,
fight
wasn't it?
on Sky, and it came
Yeah.
up. Tommy McCarthy is the godparent.
That's where we were talking about. Yeah.
The godfather of Carl Frampton's son Rossa.
Yes.
That was, we asked him.
I want to give his real godfather a fucking mention, because everyone thinks it's Tommy. It's a guy called Cooper McClure, who was my old amateur coach, and Cooper's doing the swims now as well. He's one of the last one. He's still in actually. He's doing it in the dark and all. I think he goes on the Sunday too. He loves it apparently. So
See, talking about your son, right? See if your son or daughter come to you now and saying in 4 years' time I want to start boxing, and because I know they're a bit young, or in that time they say to you, right, I want to be a boxer, would you let them?
I don't know. Not that I wouldn't stop them. I'd always. They're a bit young now. My wee girl's playing football. The wee boy, I'm trying to get him into football, but he's not really interested. He's only 6, like, but I know they're going to ask at some point, so I wouldn't push him into it. But
He looks like a digger. I think I've seen him dig your daughter once on your story.
he's
Are we the other way
shy
around?
guy.
Maybe was it?
I don't know. He's just
There was some sort of right hook, like.
He's a wee shite. He's always messing about, but he's a wee whinge too. So I don't know how he'd be like if he got a dig in the nose.
Just as long as they don't go to the McGuigans, not right?
That's right.
What's it like the football mornings, Carl, with your wee girl? Because I remember you put up that they beat an all boys team.
They beat she plays for Carryduff Colts. They beat a team called who was it? Glenavy or Crew United, no, up there in Glenavy. And they beat it wasn't an all boys team. There was a one girl in their team, but it was a boys team with a girl in it.
Yeah.
And they beat them 5-2. And they're all right. They're a good wee side. There's a wee girl in their team called Maya. I think her name's Curry, Maya Curry. You want to see this kid? I've never seen a wee girl that age as good as her. She's unbelievable, and no doubt, like all the Irish League clubs and all come sniffing and try and swipe her, like. But Jesus, you want to see her? She's unbelievable. She scores 5 every week and all. Like,
women's game's growing as well. Women's game's growing, so there's like a good future in women's football for them.
Yeah, it's good. I really wanted to get Carla involved in it, and she's enjoying it. And she's not a bad wee player herself, and I think she came out of her shell a wee bit playing with the rest of the girls, and she's feisty and she has a go. And but the standard, most Sundays they play over at Aquinas. The standard's a lot better than I suppose it gets credit for, even at that age. Mm-hmm. Some of the girl players are very, very good.
I mean, the Northern Ireland women's team, they just qualified for the Euros. I'm near sure. Yeah. So like the standard just throughout the whole age groups as well, it's got a lot better. Like there's definitely like a lot more there's a lot more attention put into it now. Like they're playing at Windsor Park and all, and games, like they're sort of giving them the same treatment that they give the fellas now.
Even when I played football, like there was no girls played it. There was one girl, right, Danielle McDowell, who you might know. I think she plays for the Cruise or someone now, and she was international for Northern Ireland, and she was playing but in boys teams because there was no girls teams. But there's on a Tuesday and Thursday night, there's 30 or 40 wee girls up there training, like it's mental.
Me.
There's a lot of even women. We were speaking to Pete Taylor and stuff as well about even like the women's boxing. The amount that's came on in the past few years, like it was only 3 or 4 years ago. Like even Eddie Hearn and stuff was like didn't want to touch women's boxing.
Yeah,
I mean, like Katie Taylor and now Ebony Bridges, and then you're seeing all these. They're like on the undercard.
Katie Taylor, the DM Eddie Hearn on Twitter herself. It's like it's like it's fucking wild.
I think all females boxing at the minute owe Katie Taylor something, because she kind of put it out there. Like really, she's an unbelievable fighter, and she's just not self-promoted. Like obviously she needs a promoter and all to do it, but she's just been the forefront, even more so than people like Clarissa Shields and he's what do you call your woman, Cecilia Breakhouse? Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Katie's just been an absolute superstar.
Katie's the reason it was in the Olympics, like, let's be honest.
Yeah.
So, and that's when it really went to the next level. Ricard, also you have obviously getting into punditry now. You've just signed a big deal with BT. Was that something you always knew you were going to do? Because you're very natural at it, you're very honest, but did you always sort of know you were going to go down that route?
Yeah, I did. There was a few conversations with different people. So I always knew that was going to be something I could do, and it was just about what suited me best, really, at the time. And BT, I liked, the conversations that we had with him, and I have a guy looking after me, a guy called Ben, and he has looked after me, kind of get me outside boxing, commercial sponsorships, and a few wee deals here and there, and he's really been very, very good in this. But he kind of approached me about this BT stuff, and we went to work on it, and it's been brilliant. Really, really enjoyed it, and there's a good team of people as well.
You had that Monday Night Football type thing with Joe Carragher and Neville would had, but it was you and Chisora with a big board and all. What was that like to work it?
Worst thing I've ever had to do. I didn't know how to fucking work it. It took me. It's like, and then you have Derek Chisora, who has you on edge the whole time, stand beside you. And I'm trying to rewind bits back and all. And
see, when you were disagreeing with him,
did
you think he might have cracked it? Because I seen his face, like he was just looking as if he was getting angry whenever you were slagging him. Like,
no, I didn't think he was going to crack me, like, but
it's just mad.
He was. I don't know if he was annoyed that I didn't say him in his top 5. Maybe he wanted me to say that, but he put himself at fucking 3 or 4 or something, the top 5 heavyweights.
I loved it. See your reaction. I absolutely loved it as describing them. You were like looking around. Serious?
Mental. But I like Big Derek. He's a good lad, but you can just tell, like, he's a loose cannon. Like, he's got them fucking mad eyes, like they're darting about everywhere, and he's a nut.
Remember he fucked that table with Eddie.
Oh.
See with that board, like, I remember Carragher and Gary Neville had weeks and weeks of practice on that, and even their first time doing it, it was like they said it was a nightmare doing it. Did you get practice at all, or were you just straight in?
Oh, that was me straight in. Like on a wee rehearsal before it. I didn't even know I was doing it. I knew I was doing it, but I thought Richie Woodall was controlling it.
Yeah,
and he wasn't. It was me. I was controlling it all. It was. It's one of them ones you get used to. I think I actually enjoyed it during it, but it was hard trying to think about that and try to answer him, and I'm trying to move things about in the screen now. It was it was good crack. I think you just need to get used to that.
See when you're doing it, the punditry, are you? Well, obviously, I've never done something like that. Are you always trying to like think in advance what you're going to say? Like, does this sound right? Does it sound smart? Whatever. Or you just sort of talk as if the cameras aren't there?
No, I just talk, and I was thinking about that today because I watched a thing. It was on Good Morning Britain. It was on YouTube. It was Gary Neville talking to Edwina Curry about the universal £20 being scrapped, universal credit, and he had a load of wee one-liners. You knew that he'd already been prepared with them and said them, and I was thinking, I need to start doing that, like having wee things prepared and I'm going to say. But at this point in time, I've just always just spoke like off the cuff.
Yeah. Or before we let you go, because Christine's just tweeted the Brawl Boxing Twitter saying, "Can you let him go there? We're looking to watch the Notebook." So before we let you go, right? Your old stablemate Josh Taylor has a massive fight on the horizon if he comes through. Another guy you know very well, and Jack Catterall. So he potentially after this might fight Teofimo Lopez or even Terence Crawford. How far do you see him going? And in terms of that fight, which one would you prefer from?
He has to beat Jack first, doesn't he?
Yep.
So I think the fight. I love the same fight. Crawford. I don't know. Crawford. Flip me. You can't really complain, can you? Crawford or Lopez, but like I said, he has to beat Jack Catterall first, and both of these guys are my friends, my good friends. So I've made a decision in my head already that I'm not going to say, publicly or anything who I think going to win that fight, or I'm not going to be pushed on it. But what I will say is people think it's one-sided, really one-sided fight. Jack Catterall is, and I suppose like Josh Taylor, when Josh used to spar when I was with him in the McGuigans, I always hung about to watch him sparring, and probably only him and Jack I've done this for. When Jack spars in the gym, I do the same. Actually, there's a guy called Tursun, who's just joined the gym from Kazakhstan. I hang about and watch him. But Jack and Josh were probably the first two. Jack Catterall in the gym is unbelievable. So obviously he's got that in his locker, and he just needs to show it. He hasn't showed it on a fight night yet. But I think Josh knows that. You know what I mean? Josh knows he's a better fighter than people give him credit for, and it's going to be a good fight, and I think probably a closer fight than people think.
See, when you first seen Josh Taylor all those years ago in the McGuigan's gym, my good uncle's gym, did you see at that point that he was gonna be a star, like, or?
Yeah, I did. It's just one. Yeah, he's unbelievable. Really,
just like
really
the work ethic.
Well, all that he trained really hard, but it was more than that. He was just really good, but he was really, really spiteful. Like, just took no prisoner. Like, spiteful, really spiteful. And I remember him when I was getting ready for Santa Cruz in Vegas. He was out to spar. He went out with me, and I was training in Sean Porter's gym. He sparred Sean Porter, and sparring. But let's just say he done very, very well against Sean Porter. And I remember I knew from the start he was unbelievable, but that was probably the time when I started to think, like, fuck me, this kid's going to do something here proper.
What about Kakachi? What was he like?
He's an R1, just natural talent. Anto is, but hopefully it's changed a bit now, and I think it has changed. But the issue with Anto was always just lack of motivation and everything else. But in terms of natural ability, I don't know another fighter that has what Anto Kakachi has, and I hopefully now he's going to push on now, because it would be such a shame. Like, there's worse fighters have won world titles, and Anto Kakachi honestly is just unbelievably talented. He just needs the work ethic to go along with it, and he could be a world champion. Genuinely believe that.
I really hope he gets the opportunity. I remember all the people saying that from the amateurs. Like, they said he was just ridiculously naturally talented. So yeah, it looks like now he's pushing on, like, and he'll hopefully get that shot, because he
got a wee bit of attention for his last fight and stuff. And it's Leon Woodstock. In the grand scheme of things, Leon Woodstock isn't a brilliant fighter, but it's all to do with how he dealt with Leon Woodstock, and he beat him up. He was brilliant, punch perfect. And people kept talking about the Archie Sharp fight, and I was saying, forget about Archie Sharp. Like, domestic fights, you don't want to be doing them. But I didn't realize he's in the highest ranked contender with WBO. He's ranked like number 2.
Yeah.
So I didn't realize that. But if that's the case, then Anto Kakachi, no doubt in my mind, that he fought Archie Sharp, I don't even think it'd be a close fight. And then he takes his number 2 WBO spot. So.
Well, he's been calling out big names in America too, Archie Sharp. So, like, if Kakachi could beat Archie Sharp, that puts him on a serious pedestal.
I think Anto needs to start doing a bit of. It's not his scene, and I suppose I understand why he doesn't want to do it. He's easily embarrassed, Anto. He gets. He can do me birthday video messages for people and all. He can take some 500 goals to do it. But a wee bit of self-promotion would help him as well. But I have no doubt in mind. Like, I'd put my house on Anto to beat Archie Sharp.
Hopefully it happens. Carl, thank you so much. We're massive fans of you, as you know. So thank you so much for coming on again, mate. I really appreciate it.
Problem.
Thanks a million. Hopefully the notebook's good with Christina, and apologise on our behalf.
All right.
That we kept it too long. Well, folks, that's it for our episode of Carl Frampton. Join us again next week, and we'll be back with another very special guest. Also, another big thank you goes to Wow Hydrate, who have came on board as a new sponsor for us as well. So why not push it and check out their website for some great deals.
White girl problems, better back in autumn. Every gift I try to get her, she already got them. Messing with the TA, wonder what she taught him. Work her way down, literally to the bottom. Where are all my best friends? How can I ignore them? Never gonna text them, I am too important. Look at what my dad bought, yeah it was imported. He took a second loan cause our family can't afford it. Nice guy, bound to finish last if it's a sport. Call her CeeLo cause she crazy and her arms are kinda short. Got a traffic ticket once, but she didn't go to court. And she interrupts my sessions every time that I record. So I tell her I got so much shit up on my plate, it's a buffet. Now we out in Paris and these women look like Muzzy. Superficial, she just needed combs like Puffet. You don't need to go, but I think you need to trust me.